They laughed. They pointed. They called it exaggerated, delusional, arrogant. They said, "That's the kind of talk from someone who doesn't know their place." And he heard it. But he didn't stop, because deep down he knew. The same eyes that mock today are the ones too blind to see tomorrow. Most people walk through life with vision clouded by their own limitations. They can't imagine what they've never built. They called him crazy for seeing a path that didn't exist yet, for seeing possibility where others only saw routine, for moving in the opposite direction of the crowd. But he never expected to be understood, because those who see what no one else sees carry the weight of being discredited, until the impossible becomes reality. He was alone, but whole, wounded, but convicted, and no one saw the days he cried in silence, the rejections he swallowed, the blisters on his feet from walking paths no one dared to take. Most people want applause before they deliver. He delivered without expecting an audience. Most want support before the fight. He fought without witnesses, because he knew you don't build an empire by asking for permission. He worked while others rested. He studied when they said it was too late. He took risks when they called it foolish. And no, it wasn't luck. It was vision. It was discipline. It was faith in a future that existed only inside him. Henry Ford was told horses were enough. Walt Disney was fired for lacking creativity. Oprah was rejected for not fitting the mold. Steve Jobs was pushed out of his own company. All of them were called crazy. But madness is relative. Is it madness to create something new? Or is it madness to live a life that doesn't inspire? And so he kept going, because he understood early on that he didn't need the approval of small minds to build a big dream, that the outside voices only have power if they echo on the inside. He flipped the switch, the one of focus, of consistency, of self-responsibility. And that's when everything changed. He started waking up earlier, speaking less, listening more, observing what no one else noticed, because everyone else was too busy trying to look busy. He realized that success isn't about speed. It's about consistency. That winning isn't an event. It's a state of mind sustained day after day. That motivation is fragile. What holds everything up is discipline. While others chased shortcuts, he refined the fundamentals. While the world screamed for attention, he cultivated silence and focus. While his peers collected distractions, he collected skills. One by one, block by block, brick by brick. They called it obsession, but it was commitment. He knew that anyone building something too big for the present would always be misunderstood by those living only for today. He stopped trying to understand the critics. He focused on surpassing them, not for revenge, but because he knew that the greatest answer is results. And the results started to show. Not all at once, but as signs. Small wins, doors opening, people who once ignored him now copying him. Eyes that once judged, now admiring, silently, of course. And still, he didn't change, because he knew empires built on appearances collapse with the wind. His was built on purpose. He didn't talk too much. He executed. While others wasted energy on arguments, he used the same energy to move forward. He didn't try to convince anyone. He let the results speak for themselves. That's when the real shift happens. Not when the world recognizes you, but when you no longer need that recognition to keep going. He became consistent, cold in his decisions, fiery in his vision, rigid with his standards, flexible with his path. While others collected distractions, he collected meaningful days. While the world spun in cycles of empty promises, he kept delivering, with or without applause, with or without an audience, with or without likes. And the most impressive part, he didn't want to be admired. He wanted to be effective. Because what he sought wasn't fame. It was legacy. And legacy isn't built in a hurry. It's built with sacrifice, with long nights, with unpopular decisions, with letting go, with clarity. And clarity he had in abundance. He knew what he wanted. He knew why he wanted it. And he knew exactly what he was willing to lose in order to win. While everyone else was chasing comfort, he chased capability. While the world begged for validation, he walked forward with faith. He became a reference, not because he sought attention, but because his actions began to shift the world around him. Leaders quoted him. Young people mimicked him. Partners followed him. His consistency became a compass for those who once mocked his map. And it all started on the day they called him crazy. But no empire is built on vision alone. After faith comes friction. And that's when he felt the real weight of the choice he had made. The days of doubt came, the months of scarcity, the phases when nothing seemed to work, when progress was invisible, when silence hurt more than any criticism. He lost people, friends who laughed with him, but vanished when the journey got too serious, family members who claimed to support him, but frowned at every decision that strayed from the norm, partners who bailed on projects right when it was time to deliver. But he kept going, because he understood that the loneliness of the path was part of his armor, that a man with vision must learn to be his own source, that not everyone who starts with you is built to stay until the end. And instead of closing off, he refined himself. He invested more, read more, trained more, worked in silence, twice as hard. He understood that no one builds something truly great without passing through seasons of invisibility. There, in anonymity, he became unbreakable. He stopped waiting for recognition, learned to find satisfaction in the process, stopped comparing himself, and started surpassing himself. And when everything seemed painfully slow, he remembered, Chinese bamboo grows underground for years before it ever breaks the surface. And once it does, it grows meters in weeks. He was growing roots, solidifying foundation, building something no one else could see, but that he could feel in every fiber of his being. And then the moment came when the fruits began to appear, not like an explosion, but like maturity. Clients started referring him. Projects multiplied. People began to seek him out, not to give opinions, but to learn. He became a lighthouse, a reference point, a key, not because he tried to be, but because he became. And while many were still trying to figure out how, he smiled on the inside. Because the truth is simple. They called him crazy. But really, it was just too early for them to understand his vision. Now, the empire stands. But what few people understand is that it wasn't built by action alone. It was built with intention. Every choice, every sacrifice, every quiet no, every silent yes screamed from within, even when everything around said it was too risky. He didn't become great by doing what everyone else does. He became great by doing what almost no one can sustain, holding on to integrity while rising. Because there's something even rarer than success, Success with purpose. And that can't be bought. It can't be faked. It can't be inherited. It must be built. Today he inspires, not because he won, but because he won without losing himself. He could have shown off, but he chose to teach. He could have belittled, but he chose to uplift. He could have silenced those who doubted him, but instead he shined so brightly that no one could ignore him. And that is the real empire. Not the building, not the assets, not the profit, but the impact that remains even after he leaves the room. The change he represents. The silent permission he gives others to dream bigger, even if they're called crazy too. He understood. Those who are called crazy today might be remembered as geniuses tomorrow, but only if they don't quit halfway. So if you're being ridiculed right now for dreaming too big, smile on the inside. You're on the right path. Keep going, because your dream isn't too big. Their minds are still too small.